Today, I'm going to show you how I saved over $100 by making this pair of armless sunglasses myself. Let's go. If you've watched any of my other videos, you know that I love budget gear and modifying gear, and that applies exactly to these sunglasses. These sunglasses only costed $20 and they were incredibly easy to modify. But the issue with budget gear is typically you are making some sort of sacrifice in one way or another. I'm going to save you some time and I'm going to jump straight into the pros and cons of making a pair of these sunglasses yourself. There are two main cons I have with these sunglasses, and that is, one, you have to make them yourself. Now, this shouldn't come as a surprise for any of you watching the video because you did click on a DIY video. However, if you are lost, then yes, you have to make these yourself. It only took about 10 minutes for me to modify these. The video is much longer than 10 minutes just because I like to get into the nitty-gritty details of things and over-explain, kind of like what I'm doing right now. However, the total modification time will be 10 minutes, maybe even less. The second con is that this only works for plastic framed sunglasses. Now, this method can work for other sunglasses, however, it's not something I've tried. In this video, I'm only going to be showing you plastic framed sunglasses. For the pros, you can use any pair of plastic framed sunglasses you want. That means any shape, any lens color, any color, the shape of the curvature of the sunglasses, whether you want curved, whether you want flat, how the nose cushion part fits on your face. It can just be a pair of junky sunglasses you have in the drawer and you just want to test out this modification. The choices are kind of unlimited because there's a lot of plastic framed sunglasses out there. Secondly, I can operate these with only one hand. You see? The competitor, I mean, I don't really want to say competitor because I'm not really trying to compete with anybody, but you know, the Ombraz, okay, let's just get the name out there. The Ombraz, I believe, require two hands. This only requires one hand. And lastly, a huge pro for me personally is that this is affordable. These sunglasses were only $20. For me, I lose my sunglasses all the time. All the time. I just misplace them, or I leave them somewhere, or I sit on them and break them. Speaking of sit on them, these are not actually indestructible sunglasses like the Ombraz. You know, the Ombraz, I've seen a video where they run them over a car. These are not that. However, if you really wanted to, you could get a pair of plastic framed sunglasses that are indestructible, really bendy, and can be ran over with a car. So, all because the sunglasses I'm using in this video are limited in certain ways, that doesn't mean the sunglasses you use for when you do this modification have to be limited in those ways as well. Before I go into the process of making these sunglasses, I wanted to give a shout out to the YouTuber WV West. He has a hilarious video on his channel on his take of the DIY Ombraz, which he calls the broke bras. I absolutely love that name. I'm going to steal that for my video. His DIY is actually simpler than mine. So if you want a simplified version, I definitely recommend checking out his video. Or if you just want to laugh, go check his video out because it's really funny. Here are the supplies you're going to need. Obviously some sunglasses, a screwdriver to unscrew the hinges, a drill with some drill bits. This is to drill the hole in the frame. Some sort of cordage. This can be static cordage, elasticated cordage, or even webbing. It's whatever you prefer. and one of these. I forgot what this is called. Some sort of like a cordage lock stopper thingamabob. I got this from a stuff sack. If you have a lot of gear, you probably have a couple of these laying around. So let's first start by taking a measurement on how much these sunglasses weigh. Keep in mind, I do have this tightening strap on these sunglasses, just so I can have the sunglasses fit snugly around my head. That comes to 38 grams. Now, if I remove this tightening strap, it comes down to 34 grams. Okay. Let's first start with removing these screws that hold the arms of the sunglasses. These are the hinge screws. Okay, that's pretty easy. These should just pop off. Now, I do have a plan on what I want to do. However, I might make some alterations. We'll see. I'm thinking to drill a hole right here in this channel. This is where the this little protruding part of the arm went into. Of course, your sunglasses may be different. I don't think it really matters too much about where you drill the hole. I'd say just make sure wherever you drill the hole, you're going to be threading this cordage through. Just make sure that the cordage isn't going to be protruding too much where it will hit your face. So that's why I'm going to do it into this little channel right here. So let me now find a drill bit that is a good size. Let's go with this 7/64. Yeah, I can go a little bit larger, 1/8. Yeah, 1/8 would work. Put this into the drill. Okay, and let's start drilling. I should probably find a backing for this. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm going to use this egg carton as a surface so I don't drill through my table. It's probably not the best thing to use, but let's give it a go. Okay, wonderful. That's a perfect hole. And let's do that on the other side. Okay, that's both sides done. All right. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm actually going to cut this cord into 2 pieces and have a piece here and a piece here that will be connected by this. But I'm going to tie it in a certain way where it can be tightened by one hand. Actually, I forgot my scissors. I'll be right back. Okay, I got my scissors and I got a lighter because once I cut this cord, it's going to fray, so I want to stop it from fraying. One simple way you can do this is just tie the cordage on each side and then thread this through the back like this and tighten it that way. You can kind of see how it would look like this. However, this requires 2 hands to tighten, right? I mean, you can kind of get away with using one hand by like pushing it with your thumb like this, but in reality, it really takes 2 hands to tighten. I want a system where I can tighten it with only one hand. And I have an idea on how I'm going to do that. First, I'm going to cut this cordage in half. Melt the tips so it doesn't fray. I'm going to tie a piece of cordage on each side. I'm just tying a simple overhand here, 2 overhands. I'm probably going to switch this out to a more secure knot later on. Let me do the other side as well now. Okay, both sides are tied on now. I am going to trim these. However, before I trim these, I want to show you how the tighten mechanism works specifically with one hand. So on one side, I'm going to have the toggle and I'm going to tie a stopper knot. So let me tie the stopper knot up here. Okay, so that's the stopper knot. So when I loosen this toggle, it won't, oh actually it did go past, I'm stupid. Let me tie another stopper knot, so that way it's thick enough that it won't pass the toggle. Okay, now there are 2 stopper knots that should not go through. Okay, perfect, it does not go through. I'm going to take the other side and thread it through as well and do the same thing. 2 knots to make a stopper knot. There we go. That's basically it. Just 2 stopper knots on either side, and now it has become a one-handed tightening mechanism. Let me get this on my face so I can show you exactly what I'm talking about. For demonstration purposes, I'm going to be putting on the sunglasses the opposite way. That way you can see it better. Now you just saw me put it on my head with just one hand. You can see the 2 strands here, one here and this one long one. In order to tighten it with one hand, all I have to do is pull on one strand, pull out, and slide to the side. And boom, it's tight. Hell yeah. Now you want to make sure to pull out and to the side, because if you just pull to the side, like I'm going to grab this small strand. If you just pull to the side, all you're going to do, actually I tightened it that time. So that time it did work. But sometimes if you just pull to the side, all it does is slide the whole sunglasses around your head. So I've found that pulling out slightly and then to the side works perfectly. Yes. After some testing, I decided to make some changes to the sunglasses. One of them being, you may be able to tell, the lighting's not great, sorry, but I'm actually using 2 different types of cord. One of them is an elastic cord, and the other is static. The benefits of using an elastic cord is that it's stretchy, so you can have it tighter without being super uncomfortable. Just think of, wearing a pair of sweatpants that have an elastic waist versus wearing a pair of jeans. Now, you may be wondering, why didn't I just make both cords elastic? Why do I have this static one in the first place? Let me show you. So, let's just pretend these glasses are on my head. My hand is my head, and I want to tighten down the cord. If I grab the static side and try to tighten, that the elastic side, all it does is stretch and it doesn't actually let me tighten the cord, right? Now let me do the opposite. Now the static side is on top, the elastic side is on bottom, and I'm going to pull the elastic side. I can tighten. So that was the issue I was facing. If I have both sides with the elastic cord, I won't even be able to tighten it. So you need one side to be static, so when you pull on it, it does not stretch. The issue with having this setup, it's not a huge issue, but the small issue is that you can only tighten it going one side now. You can't actually tighten it both ways. So if you want a pair that can tighten both ways, then make sure to use a static cord on both sides. However, this is pretty much perfect for me. I've changed these knots. Now I'm using what's called a scaffold knot. I'm not going to show you how to make that because honestly, I already forgot. However, I'll have instructions on the screen. I also added this loop at the bottom, or at the back. And this loop is actually to clip into my hat. Well, it's also to help indicate where to grab, but it also clips into my hat, and I will show you that later. Let's just get a quick weight on the new sunglasses. We are at 29 grams. Actually, I forgot what we were at before. I mean, let's be honest. I'm not really doing this for the weight savings, but there you go. Before I go over the pros and cons of the sunglasses and give you my final thoughts, I do have a confession to make. When I first came up with this idea, when I first saw the Ombraz, I thought to myself, wow, another pair of overpriced sunglasses. All they did was add a piece of cordage. I mean, this should be much cheaper than sunglasses already. I mean, you don't have to manufacture the arms. Why does it cost so much? All of those thoughts. But as I've done research making this video, I realized the Ombraz aren't a bad deal, and I kind of want a pair now, which is funny. Let me just start with some of the research I've done. I mean, it's not deep research. I'm just going onto their website, right? But they use Zeiss lenses, which I'm not a glasses guy, even though I'm wearing glasses. I'm not opting for the most high quality lenses possible. But from what my partner has told me, Zeiss makes pretty good lenses. So I assume the picture quality, clarity, all that stuff will be very good for those sunglasses, for the Ombraz. Now, I did do a search on Zeiss lens sunglasses that were available other than the Ombraz, just to have a apples to apples comparison. And a lot of them were actually pretty dang expensive. $200. I think the cheapest ones were maybe $100 or so. I think those were on sale too, though. The retail price was more. So Ombraz, which are only $130, and you're getting the Zeiss lenses, and you're getting the adjustment strap. You know what? Let me just start the pros and cons, okay? Let me start with the Ombraz first, okay? The Ombraz, they're comfortable. Now keep in mind, I don't have a pair. I'm just going by what the website says and what a lot of people have said. But I mean, if you have opinions and if you have a pair, feel free to put it in the comments below. The Ombraz are comfortable. They are durable. Yeah, I think they showed a video of it running over it with a car or something. They're secure. They fit over your head securely. They're packable. And they have a lifetime warranty, which is great. The cons are that they are expensive. There's not that many options. I mean, they give you options on the website in terms of customization, like what color you want the lens to be and what color you want the frame to be. But in terms of the shape, they all kind of look like the same shape. I don't know if that's just me. Again, I'm not a eyeglass, sunglass, expert and fanatic, okay? But they all look exactly the same to me. Where was I? Oh, and maybe one of the biggest flaws for me is that it takes two hands, okay? And the price. But it takes two hands to put on. Now let's compare that with the Broke bras. The Broke bras, they're comfortable, just like the Ombraz. They're secure. They are packable, not as packable as the Ombraz, because I believe the Ombraz are completely flat. However, they're packable enough for me. And the benefit of this shape is now I don't have to buy a separate side shield thing because they're flat. You have to buy a separate side shield. These, you don't need that because they're already curved to your head. The Broke bras are cheap and I can use them with one hand. The cons of the Broke bras are they are not as durable. Now keep in mind, that's just the sunglasses I have, okay? If you buy your own sunglasses, you can find a pair that's durable where you can bend this and run it over with a car or something. There are limited options. These are limited by the frame. You can choose any pair of sunglasses you want. So there's a lot of options in that sense, but you really need to drill a hole in it to attach the cordage. Or maybe it already has a hole, that's great. But you can't do that with every pair of sunglasses. So in that sense, it is limited. And there's no lifetime warranty on these. I still actually think the Broke bras are a better value in deal. However, if we take the Ombraz and compare it to other sunglasses, sports sunglasses like Oakley's, the price really isn't bad. Actually, I don't even know what the price of Oakleys, but I'm pretty sure they're pretty dang expensive. And comparing them to other Zeiss lens sunglasses as well, the 130 price tag, again, is really not that bad considering what you get. That's why my opinion on them has shifted, and I would really like to get a pair. I probably won't buy new just because I'm cheap and I like to buy used stuff, but if I can find a pair for a good price, I'd love to try them out. Let's start going over my final thoughts on the Ombraz. I am really happy with these. I am so glad with how they came out. Even though it seems simple, I mean, it is simple, but like a lot of thought has gone into these. Maybe that's just because my brain's a little smooth, but I enjoyed the process and I'm really happy with how these turned out. Okay, so yeah, my final thoughts. I've used these a handful of times now, running and just everyday use. They work great. These fit into my running belt very well, very comfortably too, which is great. I can put them on with one hand while running. It does take a little bit of practice, but once you get the hang of it, it's really no problem at all. I can fit these securely over the top rim of my hat, and I know that they won't fall off. I can put these on while driving, while I still have one hand on the wheel, which is huge for me, you know? Safety, guys. Safety.
Turn on your fucking plane!
Okay, what else? I can use these in the tub. Well, I use them in the tub, but the purpose of that test was to see how they would do in water or like a swimming environment, and they did not fall off. I can also use them in the shower. Again, not sure what the purpose of that test was, but you can use them in the shower if you want to. The headphones that I use have a clip that go over my ear, so you can imagine if I have a pair of normal glasses or sunglasses that have an arm, they would interfere with one another. These being just cordage, I can barely even feel it, and it doesn't interfere with the headphone clip at all. Lastly, I want to show you why I added this loop at the back. Let me demonstrate. I'm going to take off my regular glasses, put this on backwards so you can see it, put a hat on backwards so you can see it as well. Wow, I'm so cool, look at that. So on my hat, I have a S-beaner, okay, attached to the webbing of the hat. That's just the webbing you use to tighten. I have this little S-beaner. So I can clip this S-beaner onto this loop, just like that. And the purpose of this is so if I am in very windy conditions, usually if I'm in like alpine conditions, I don't want my hat to blow off and go off into the distance or like blow down trails, because that can be a pain in the ass. Now, before, it looks so funny. Before, what I did was I had the same setup basically, like here, but I had this clipped to my backpack. So the hat was attached to the backpack. But the issue with that is whenever I take a break or refill my water, I put my pack down. I take my pack off, I forget it's attached, and I like yank my head to the side, like almost decapitating myself. It's actually not that bad. I mean, it would kind of yank my head, you know, but the hat like falls off, and it's just annoying. So this way, if I ever wanted to remove either my hat or sunglasses, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. Like, I want to remove my hat, you know, I'm not like completely yanking my head off. Like the weight of my backpack is not on that one piece of cord. So it's a lot more comfortable and intuitive, I guess, to have these two attached rather than my hat attached to my backpack. So I'm really happy with that as well. Lastly, I want to go over some things I could have done but didn't do because, well, if you've watched any of my other gear mod videos, you know I'm pretty lazy and like to do things the easy way. This is mostly cosmetic. One thing I could have done is for this knot right here, I could have sewed these two pieces together rather than making any knot. That way it will look more streamlined. I'll have a picture of what I mean. And I could have put a piece of heat shrink tubing over that as well. I think that would make it look like pretty legit and like an actual purposeful design rather than like a DIY. I mean, this is a actual design. You guys know what I mean, okay? And I could have done something similar here. But you know what? I'm totally fine with this. As a commenter once said in one of my other videos, this is what I call brutto ma buono. Brutto ma buono. Ugly but good. I like that. I love that. Thank you guys for watching. If you have found this helpful, please give it a like, comment, subscribe. You guys know what to do. If you do this mod yourself, please let me know how it goes. And let me know if there's anything that you did that I didn't think of, because I'd love to hear more ideas and how to make this better, or just stuff you prefer that I didn't think of. Thanks for watching and happy trails.